I've never seen another drug transform in popularity the way that I have seen the GLP-1s. And in one way, it's good because it does have healthy benefits. But on the other end, it's scary because I think it gives people a false sense of security about what they really need to do to live a healthier life. And they take it for granted. Oh, I can do this instead of watching what I eat. I can do this instead of exercising on a regular basis. And it doesn't really work like that. So, and it has some side effects that not everybody can tolerate or are healthy. So the way that it's marketed, where everyone thinks that, oh, I can just do it, there is a downside to everything.
Okay.
And it just, people should consider it very mindfully.
I'm not afraid to write a brand new story. And what changes find a way to me, I can keep it moving. I'm not afraid to celebrate my glory. And when challenges grace my path, I know I can face another day. Inside, I rise, daring to learn. With Fox After 40.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Fox After 40, where we focus on all things women's wellness. And today I have Dr. K here with us, here to discuss weight loss after 40, but specifically GLP-1s. Dr. K is a bariatric surgeon, and before I chit-chat with her, I want to go ahead and read her bio. Dr. Karleena McDaniel is a board-certified bariatric surgeon, health expert, and self-love advocate dedicated to empowering the Black community through health education. A graduate of UMBC and Howard University College of Medicine, she now serves as medical director of a bariatric surgery program in Atlanta. With 15 plus years of firsthand experience addressing health disparities, Dr. Karleena co-founded Pro-Black Health with her husband to combat vitamin deficiencies and reinvest in Black wellness, donating up to 50% of net profits to health-focused nonprofits. A lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Reserves and two-time tour veteran, she balances military service, medicine, and speaking nationally on obesity, self-worth, and community health, including appearances at Essence Fest. Thank you so much, Dr. K, for coming with us and being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
So our last episode, you guys should check this out. She talked in detail about gastric bypass and the gastric sleeve, right? So we talked about the surgery and how it's done. But one of the more popularized things that people are talking about now are GLP-1s. And one of the things I don't know what that stands for. So I don't know if you know. But two, can you explain just kind of what they are and how they differ from bariatric surgery?
Okay. So GLP is a glucagon-like peptide, and it's an agonist. An agonist means it acts like whatever you're trying to mimic. So GLP-1 agonists act like GLP-1. Glucagon-like peptide, what it does naturally, because we all have it in our body, it helps with appetite suppression. It helps regulate your insulin so that you're able to have less active blood sugar, like in your blood. So people who are insulin resistant or diabetics who don't make enough insulin, their blood sugars are high because they don't have enough insulin to like get the sugar out of their blood. So GLP helps with insulin production. It helps slowing down your GI tract. So you feel full longer. Slowing down digestion also helps with blood sugar because you're not like dumping it all in at the same time. It's a slower absorptive process, which helps regulate blood sugars. So it's come a long way, but initially it was for diabetics. And I think like 2005, I think, is when it first started. But no one was talking about it until like 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. When it hit the celebrity train. And they started using it for weight loss because originally it just was for diabetes. But you know how society is. Oh, I can lose weight with a shot and celebrities are endorsing it. It was like, I've never seen another drug transform in popularity the way that I have seen the GLP-1s. And in one way it's good because it does have healthy benefits, but on the other end it's scary because I think it gives people a false sense of security about what they really need to do to live a healthier life. And they take it for granted. Oh, I can do this instead of watching what I eat. I can do this instead of exercising on a regular basis. And it doesn't really work like that. So, and it has some side effects that not everybody can tolerate or are healthy. So the way that it's marketed, where everyone thinks that, oh, I can just do it, there is a downside to everything.
Okay.
And it just, people should consider it very mindfully.
What kind of downsides?
So with slowing down the GI tract, so there's higher constipation. Some people get gastroparesis. Gastroparesis is when your stomach just does not empty. So you'll just have food sitting in there for hours to days. You can get more gallstones, so gallbladder disease, cholecystitis. Some people get bowel blockages.
How likely is it to happen? Like, what are people who are getting those things? Like, what are they doing that the people who are not getting it doing?
It's really about what that person is eating and or drinking. Okay. So a lot of it is dehydration related. If you are a diabetic, you are more likely to get more extreme side effects, like the gastroparesis and slowing down. Pancreatitis, I would say that happened probably less than 10%, but just things that we're just seeing because you're slowing everything down in the body.
10% sounds high for pancreatitis. What is pancreatitis? Let me ask that, because I thought that was like cake. That's not cancer, is it?
There's pancreatic cancer.
Okay, girl. My bad. My grandmother had pancreatic cancer. So I was like, wait.
Yeah, so itis just means inflammation. So you can put itis on anything. Arthritis.
How do you scare me for
cellulitis, pancreatitis, appendicitis.
Itis. No, I'm kidding.
But pancreatitis is just inflammation of the pancreas. Okay. The most common cause is alcoholism. Actually, the most common cause is getting a gallstone stuck there. Second one is alcoholism. But once it's inflamed for whatever reason, it sucks. Pancreatitis is like not fun.
Okay.
10 is probably on the higher side, but I was speaking more, it's like pancreatitis and the gastroparesis. Just
All of the negative symptoms.
The more extreme ones that send people like to the emergency room. Gotcha.
And so I noticed that there are different brands that are coming out. So I've seen Wegovy, I've seen, what is this one? Ozempic and Mounjaro. Do you know the differences in those? And like, if you could speak to them, that would be great.
So Ozempic and Wegovy are both semaglutide. So the chemical is the same. They're branded differently. Wegovy is actually marketed or FDA approved for weight loss. Ozempic is still FDA approved for diabetes, but people are taking it for weight loss.
I see.
And the difference is the dose. So there's a higher dosage on the Wegovy side for weight loss.
Okay.
Mounjaro is a GLP-1 plus another hormone agonist called GIP. Okay. And it escapes my mind what GIP means, but it works in two different ways. So they're seeing more weight loss with these combination meds, like Mounjaro, than just the GLP-1 side of it.
So maybe Mounjaro might be more effective for weight loss.
Yes. Just how like bypass maybe more effective than the sleeve because it works in two different mechanisms versus just one.
So, for a minute, I was like kind of anti the shots for a second, just because I was like, oh, like, of course, my natural things. I also grew up an athlete, right? So it was very much work hard, manage what you eat, and like you should lose weight that way.
It gets harder when you get older, though. It don't work work the same.
And so, but then I started talking to my trainers. I started talking to fellow doctors that I knew, people who I knew were like research fanatics, and they were all saying the research is solid. That like it's relatively safe, like they did really good research on it. Like, and then I started hearing all my friends doing it, and they look good. And so now I'm like, well, maybe I should roll back my
apprehension.
Yeah, about bariatric surgery, about GLP-1s. You know what I'm saying? And so, would you say, is this something that you would recommend for people, or?
I would recommend GLP-1s for those who have honestly started changing their habits. Because if you go into it like, oh, I'm going to do this shot and still live life how I want to live it, there's no point.
Yeah.
I'm going to say there's no point, but it's not the healthy way to do it. And the data shows that, you lose like up to 10% of your weight within, I believe, like 6 months or so. But people who stop taking it 1 year, 2 years out, regain the weight back, and sometimes more. You lose more muscle mass than you lose fat mass. That's why I see like Ozempic face and Ozempic butt, because you're losing a lot of, fatty tissue, which makes you look, like perky and stuff. So you look sunken in.
Almost youthful.
Yeah. So and even to do that to your body to slow down your digestion, which, like I said, maybe you're nauseous, maybe you feel, just not right when you initiate a dose or you increase a dose. Most people, they settle out and they get used to it, but it's not something that you should do if you have not really put the effort in to do the things that you need to do regardless. Because let's say you have a side effect and you can't take it anymore. Let's say, your out-of-pocket expense is just too much. There's so many reasons or things that can happen that drug may not be available to you anymore. And you have to lean back on still watching your diet and exercising and all the healthy things that you should be doing in addition to the tool.
Yeah.
It's not a fix. It's an aid.
If you've gotten any value from listening to Fox After 40, you learned a beauty tip, you've gotten advice, you shared the episode with a friend, please do us a favor and leave us a review on Spotify and Apple. It goes a very long way in helping us continue to build the podcast. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. That's 2 questions. I would like to know the difference, or, who should do GLP-1s versus who should get bariatric surgery. And then my other question was going to be about the Ozempic face. So, you get to lose skin afterwards. I see some people whose skin looks great after significant weight loss. And then you see some that doesn't. Are they doing different things, or you think it's genetic?
It's genetics.
Okay.
It's age. And those are the main things. But also the ones who don't get enough protein or weight train, they're going to lose muscle quicker than they lose fat mass. Gotcha. In terms of, you said, when should one versus the other?
Who should use bariatric surgery and who should use GLP-1s?
So bariatric surgery, remember, is like BMI dependent. So let's say your BMI is 32. So you're obese, but you're not morbidly obese. And you've really tried, you're really cleaning up your day-to-day habits.
Yeah.
That may be a good option for you.
Okay.
If you are going to have bariatric surgery and you need to lose a significant amount of weight, a GLP-1 could be a good way to help you lose the amount of weight that we need to get you on the table. After surgery, when patients stall out, we can add GLP-1s to help maintain the weight loss or to restart the weight loss. So it's really, if you have diabetes, if you have high blood pressure, all those things are to consider, but only after you've really taken a hard look at what you're doing and are really trying to change those things first, and then in addition to whatever you decide to do to help the process.
And I've also heard, too, that if you were taking like Ozempic for diabetes, that it may not be effective for weight loss for you because it's for the medication.
Well, that's why the dose is different. So the Wegovy is a higher dose of semaglutide than the Ozempic semaglutide dose.
Okay. So I'll have to make sure I remember to tell the person I knew who was doing it to go try something. Okay. This is the thought. Okay, good to know. Are GLP-1s safe for like really long-term use, or is it only meant to be a couple years?
Well, theoretically, it's safe for long-term use so far. Remember, we're really just recently into the weight loss research of it, because it's been used for diabetes now for 20 years.
Yeah.
And some people use it for diabetes, forever. But it's about managing the side effects, and it's about the price, and it's about, do you want to, take a shot every week for the rest of your life? Like, I want to get off medications, But I just think it's hilarious that people don't want to. I don't want to take medications, but you will be first in line to get an Ozempic shot. You know, you will find a bodega where someone's in the back mixing it. It's crazy. Like just the way people have latched on to the concept of it.
People in the back.
Compound, yeah. There are.
Wait a minute.
I'm serious.
What do you do? Tell me what you mean.
So you can. So it's a chemical. You can compound anything. So you get somebody who makes semaglutide, but that doesn't mean it's regulated. That doesn't mean that it's like safe to use.
What are
but
they
it's
doing?
cheaper.
How they're making it?
The way a chemist would.
And so they're just buying individual chemicals, mixing them together, and then distributing them to people.
Almost like a compound pharmacy. Like let's say, like I get like testosterone pellets, and she gets them from like a special compounding pharmacy that puts like certain amounts of stuff. So there are like legit compounding pharmacies, but then you have some spots where they figured out how to get it from like a not legit source overseas or, you know, black market, what have you. But these are not like FDA approved drugs. They're just not regulated, so you don't know what you put in your body.
This is reminding me of the people who would go and get like the butt shots in the back of like
same thing.
Wow,
Same
I didn't know
thing.
people were doing that with weight loss medicine.
Because it's cheaper.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow. I'm sorry,
but cheaper is not safer
no, it's definitely not.
or as safe.
Don't be doing that, y'all. Don't be getting your Ozempic
Some
or
black
your
market, some
GLP in the back of the bodega. Don't do that, okay? What is the cost comparison for GLP-1s versus bariatric surgery?
So, if let's say you don't have insurance, right, and you're going to pay market price, it's estimated that it costs between $13,000 and $16,000 a year for this class of medication, and you have to do it, let's say, forever, right, to maintain the weight. Bariatric surgery costs between $17,000 and $25,000.
Okay.
And if you do everything right, you shouldn't have to be on any medications. So it kind of pays for itself in less than 2 years.
And we're talking about, and that's without insurance help, right? Insurance might lower the cost of some of those things.
Yes.
Okay.
But then again, a lot of these, like Medicare doesn't cover it for weight loss at all.
You mean like Ozempic or like the GLP-1s, period. Right.
Yeah, for diabetes they do.
Gotcha.
But they don't do it unless like your
So
BMI.
not Wegovy, not
Yeah,
Mounjaro.
no. Yeah, you have to be like a diabetic with a certain A1C and a certain weight to qualify.
Yeah. And
And then some commercial insurances will cover it, but it's still expensive. But let's say you're paying out of pocket because your insurance company doesn't cover it at all. It's expensive.
bariatric surgery, is it covered entirely, generally speaking?
Yeah, depending on your insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be covered like any other surgery. You pay your copay or your deductible, and
if I want to just go in and get bariatric surgery, like today, I go in, how long before I'm actually probably getting it? And I know it depends on how much weight you got to lose and stuff like that. But let's say I didn't need to lose any additional weight. I'm a good candidate.
I would say most people, if they're like doing all their testing like consistently, I would say 3 to 6 months.
Okay, cool. What would you say are some questions that, and I'm just saying women because it's a podcast about women, are some questions that you should be asking your physician when you go in to talk about GLP-1s and or bariatric surgery?
First thing is, because a lot of us have no idea what our medical issues are in general. Like you ain't seen a PCP in God knows how long.
What is a PCP?
Primary care provider. So
That's true though. I don't have a primary care provider.
but you'd be surprised because as long as you feel good, that doesn't mean that you don't have something on the inside that is lurking and or progressing. So getting all the necessary like blood work and testing to see, do you have high blood pressure? Do you have, I've had people who found out they were diabetic in the workup to get bariatric surgery. There's so many things that people just don't know. But side effects, you can ask that.
What are some early signs of diabetes?
Early signs, I wouldn't say there's any early signs. They're typically all late. Like when you feel you got diabetes, you're high. But so you might pee a lot because your body is trying to eliminate all the extra sugar. So you're always thirsty because you're trying to replace the urine losses. Numbness, tingling, like neuropathies in like your fingers and toes. If you have like what should be like a little cut that doesn't heal or becomes like super infected when it shouldn't be that serious because your immune system is compromised when you have bad diabetes.
Oh, because you bruise longer because of the oculate. What do you call it?
Coagulation.
Okay, yeah. Basically, when your bruises and things don't heal as fast because you might have diabetes. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, nothing because you can't, because literally the blood, like imagine taking like table sugar, right? It's like crystals. The sugar in your blood, once it gets a certain amount, it's actually crystallizing in the walls of your blood vessels. Wow. So in your tiniest of blood vessels, if it's all clogged with sugar, you can't perfuse or get blood to like the furthest organs.
Oh, like your toes. And
exactly.
Like
and that's why they get all these toe infections.
I see.
And stuff because you can't get the nutrients in there or the white blood cells or your immune system to be able to heal it naturally. I've seen some people who get like, it's like, I forget the name of it. I want to say acanthosis, but they get like a dark velvety look on like the back of their neck or under their arms. Oftentimes that's a sign of diabetes.
Okay.
It can affect your vision. But these are like long-term things.
Diabetes affects your vision?
Oh yeah, diabetes. The fact that blood vessels have to like nourish your entire body, anything with the smallest of blood vessels has a high chance to be affected. So if the little vessels in your eyes get blocked with sugar and your eye isn't being perfused, you can lose your vision. You can lose your kidneys. So there's a lot of diabetics who end up on dialysis or have chronic kidney disease. Your heart, strokes. I mean, everything. It's really literally, it's like putting sugar into your gas tank of your car.
Oh, wow.
It can't function.
Yeah. If you've enjoyed this episode of Fox After 40 and want to get notified about the next episode when it drops, make sure to go to CurlMix.com and sign up for our mailing list. We'll notify you whenever a new episode comes out. Oh, wow. Okay. So this is helping me a lot. Just from my understanding, because I've had grandparents who had diabetes, I'm sure they wish these things existed. They probably wouldn't have maybe died from what they died from.
We don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And then we think it's normal because everyone before us had it. And we just think that, oh, well, I guess that's what old people get. And when I get old, I'll have diabetes too.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to.
Yeah.
But you have to be vigilant.
Yeah.
And you have to.
I guess I did just expect to get it one day. Like, I just thought, it just happened. Like, you like, no, Kim, that doesn't have to be.
It kind of just happens, but it don't have to happen.
Okay.
And if you were, and you catch it early, there are things you can do to stop it or reverse it before you get like these long-term, some irreversible complications of it.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. K. I'm learning so much. When it comes to GLP-1s, I should say, I'm going to struggle with say it now. I keep saying when it comes to GLP-1s. I've also heard of microdosing, where people are taking, instead of taking it every week, they take it every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. But then I also saw that there's like a 28-day expiration on the medicine. But I don't know if the expiration is kind of works like the same way the grocery store expirations are. Like they set it for double when it actually expires, Yeah,
that's capitalism. I don't really believe in expiration dates.
Okay.
I mean, I do, but not like as strict as they say.
I see.
But microdosing is like microdosing mushrooms,
So you feel like you shouldn't do that because it may not be as effective of what you expect.
It depends on what the person's trying to do. Like, let's say they want to stop losing weight as dramatically, or they want to slow it down but still have the benefit. That's a way to do it. So, because you can cut back on the strength of the dose, you can cut back on the timing of the dose. Like instead of every week, you can do every other week, but really it depends on how your body responds. So if you're doing it to maintain and not continue to lose, you can do it. it doesn't work for everybody, but nothing works for everybody. But I don't think it's not safe.
And when you mention the skin piece of it, you know, and the loose skin, you said a lot of it's genetics and sometimes it's age. What age, like what is the range? You know what I'm saying? Like how quickly can your skin bounce back? Because I've seen some people lose the weight dramatically, but then like, you know, your skin, your body creates entirely new skin cells after every, 90 days or something like that? Even so theoretically, shouldn't you have a new body?
So,
right?
So that's the misconception. So your surface skin is always shedding and rebuilding. But when your skin stretches because you have so much fat that is just bigger, right? So let's say I gain weight and then my arm is this big, so I have like extra skin there. The elasticity in like the basement level of your skin can't go back. So you can lose fat. That's why it's like you get less fluffy, but the skin, once it pops a certain elastic potential, ain't nothing to do but to cut it off if that's what you decide to do. Because the basement, like the structure, the foundation, the scaffolding, if you will, is not the same as like the skin that is shedding or, you know, replenishing itself every 90 days or so.
Do you have a lot of patients who go through bariatric surgery that then come back and get their skin adjusted?
I don't do that.
Okay. I figured it's a entirely different process.
No interest. But yes, a lot of them do. And a lot of them ask before in the initial consultation. I'm like, you worry about excess skin, you ain't lost a pound. Let's baby steps. Let's start with the process.
I've definitely thought about, you know what I mean? So I've gone through, you know, my family, on my dad's side in particular, everybody's low-key overweight. Like that's just overweight in a sense of like, you know, everybody's like in the triple digit poundage range. You know what I'm saying? So I always felt bigger than I was supposed to be on my mom's side because there's a bunch, you know, we're all Latinos. So like everybody's tiny. So I always felt like I'm the biggest one in the family. And on my dad's side, and I was like, oh, like I get why like I'm heavier. You know what I mean? No matter what I do, I'm always a heavier girl. I have more muscle. I have more, just more body. You know what I'm saying?
Denser bones, just more muscle. African Americans, our muscle structure, we have more dense muscle, just genetically.
Yeah, and then we were also bred, but whatever. We want to get into that.
Well, you know.
I always get into that. So but I've always struggled with my weight. So I had to be in sports pretty much my whole life growing up to manage my weight. And then after an adult, I had to work out way more than some other folks who maybe have natural genetics of like being more fit. And so if I'm not doing something, I could be actively working out but still gaining weight. Like, so I have to always be managing my diet, always be working out. And even still, I maintain like a 220 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not small. And so I've always looked at these like weight loss options, you know what I mean? Whether it's bariatric surgery, whether it's GLP-1s, you know what I'm saying? Or appetite suppressants, you know what I mean? Or the gut vitamin. I've looked into everything. So I'm really appreciative of this episode because I feel like I got to ask a lot of my own questions, you know?
You know, of course.
And diabetes runs in my family. Both my grandparents have it. High blood pressure, my mother has it. It's, you know, all these things run in my family. And so now I feel like there are more solutions than existed 30, 40 years ago. So I'm grateful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, definitely. definitely.
Is there anything you want to leave our guests with?
I would say being aware of your health is probably one of the most important things you can do because you have more power to change or direct the trajectory of your health than you believe. But it takes effort. It takes intention. No one is healthy by accident. Everything is a choice and a decision. And sometimes the first thing you got to do is just get a checkup, you know, get your blood drawn, like get your blood pressure checked, because you don't know what needs to be fixed until you check it to see what it is. And God willing, you catch it early and it's much easier to treat all the things when it's mild. But when you wait until it's falling off and bleeding, and we're in a different level of management at that point. And it's like, why? You know, like we need to really prioritize in our community. How do we stop these things from happening, if at all possible? Not waiting for it to happen and then be like, well, I don't want to take the meds. You should have thought about that before when you was 20 something. you should have thought about not wanting to take no meds. I don't want to hear now when
Yes, Colonel.
when your pee smells like maple syrup. I don't want to know. No, it's so we have a lot of advocacy for ourselves, but we have to be mindful and we have to encourage each other to do it. And even with your healthcare professionals, like if you have a question, ask it. If you're not comfortable with that answer, or you're not vibing with that doc, find another doc. But there's no reason you should leave an appointment and be confused, or be uncertain. And because there's nothing you have to do. If you disagree, get a second opinion. It might be the same answer, but don't just do whatever the doctor says and not have an understanding of the why. Because when people understand the why, they're more likely to keep going with whatever the plan is. But if you're just doing it blindly, I'm not going to do it. Yeah, because you don't understand the importance of doing it.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of, it's work. It's work. But I would definitely say invest in your health. You only get one life and one body. So take care of it.
You heard it first. Thank you, Dr. K. And make sure you guys leave your questions below for her. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend who is thinking about GLP-1s or bariatric surgery. I feel like everything we learned today was super helpful. And don't forget to check out CurlMix. Hair, sponsor the podcast.
Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead. Oh, yes, you guys have a discount.
Yes. Discount code. If you go to ProBlackHealth, PROBLKHealth.com, and use the code FOXAFTER40, I said it correctly,
yes,
right? You get 25% off. So use it, check us out. We have a little bit of something for everybody. And again, investing in your health is an investment in the community because we get back up to 50%. So
you heard it first. Check them out. I've bought hundreds of dollars worth of Pro Black vitamins.
And we appreciate you. So does the community.
Oh, yes. And my family loves them. So thank you so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Dr. K.
Thank you.
And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.